Welcome back to RGR Football. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL. And at this point in the season, there's a lot to talk about because the Chiefs have made it to their halfway point. Now, I don't mean that it's 8 weeks because obviously they've played a 9th game, but they are to their bye week. And that's really the magical point in the season that everyone is trying to get to as healthy as possible to try to get some rest and get recuperated for the run for the second half. Much like the Chiefs did in 2019, we're going to see the same thing in 2020. But today we're going to go over what happened and what the key stats and takeaways were from their game against the Panthers in Week 9. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like and the sub and the bell notification because that's how you find up when something new goes up. And we have live streams on Sunday and Monday nights, Q&A on Monday. That's a lot of fun, and all the answers, as many at least as I can get in an hour, get answered. Then we have film reviews. We have by the numbers like this. We have some additional stat giveaways, so you get all angles. It is 360 coverage here of the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's a great time. The game plans come out on Fridays, and our tailgate videos come out on Saturdays. That's always helpful to get ready for the next opponent, but this week the Chiefs won't have one. So we're going to go over what happened against the Panthers. And the Panthers got a lucky break, or at least a return to a lucky break, that didn't end so well for Christian McCaffrey. He was a lot of what happened for that particular team against the Chiefs. The Chiefs offense had to get in gear, and so the first thing that we check every week is how productive were they? At the end of the day, this is what they got done. They are actually 4th in the league at 6.3 yards per play on offense throughout the season. This week, they were above average, above their average even, at 6.8. Now, that did take a little bit of a step back from 7.4 from last week, which was just kind of astronomical. This was a great day in terms of the offense in getting per play yardage out of what they were doing. That's not the only thing, though, and we keep track of this around here very, very closely because what the Panthers were able to do was limit the number of possessions that the Chiefs were able to run on their offense. And that generally is the mark of what teams try to do to keep it out of Pat's hands and try to keep the offense from really getting clicking. It didn't work against the Panthers, and they were able to score on 6 of their 9 offensive possessions. That is a great clip. That is a winning clip, and quite frankly, that's a championship clip. What they were able to do is quite a drastic increase, just one more scoring drive over the week before, but that equates to 17% because they got one less drive total. And they were able to put 4 of those in the end zone, 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals. And in the end, that is a nice standard when you can score consistently at 30 and get consistently 50, 60, 70% of your drives to produce points, that you are in business. Another aspect of this game is always fun for me because I do a lot of draft work, and if you haven't seen any of that, get prepared for the offseason. But one thing is, especially for a team that is paying the stars like Patrick Mahomes, like Travis Kelce, like Frank Clark, and like Tyrann Mathieu, and the newest in Chris Jones, you have a lot of high-dollar athletes on this particular roster. In order to compensate for those, you have to run some rookies. You have to get cheap rookie contracts as you develop them, and you have to get plays from them. And this was a step up for the rookie class, putting in an extra 17 reps over the last week. And some of that came again from Mike Dana's return. Yasser Durant actually played this week and gave you some snaps in relief of Mike Remmers, who hopefully they will get back after the bye. Hopefully they have Mitch Schwartz as well. And that's a good boon for that offensive line that I think has been kind of shifting with itself and trying to keep up. You also have the likelihood of getting LJ Snead back fairly soon that will contribute to all of these snaps as well. But 139 is a healthy output. We're looking for about 100 plus. That's really the floor of what you want to get from your rookie class to make sure that you're developing and you're getting repetitions for the young guys that will replace other contracts on your roster. That will come as pass rushers here in the next couple of years. And that in particular is one that I like to track no matter what. And it doesn't matter whether it's a DB or a defensive end or a tackle. Pressure is pressure. And what you haven't seen from the Chiefs is sacks lately, but you have seen plenty of pressures. And this one in particular, this game was very productive in terms of getting the quarterback off of his spot. Now, Bridgewater had a good game, but 30 pressures on 52 dropbacks is a really nice clip, and that's up significantly from the week before. And we'll have another video early next week about the trends, about what they've done throughout the season. And this one in particular is something to watch because it gives you an idea of just how up and down this particular metric is, but it conflicts and contrasts what the Chiefs offense does versus what the Chiefs defense is able to limit the other offense from doing. And that pays off in W's. Now, one thing that did slide a little bit backwards this week is the missed tackles. I don't like to see those, but this isn't any cause for alarm. Usually you're going to see 3, 4, 5, and that's about average. 7 in a game is a little bit over the top. I don't really like to see that, but it's not anything to sound the alarm bells yet. I think they'll get that back under control here as they get ready for not only the Raiders, but the Bucs, etc., as they come into the second half of the season. And you have to give a little bit of credit to Christian McCaffrey for creating some of those missed tackles. So that said, there are other things that they can do in their own control, and one of those is how they choose to run the offense. This got out of whack a little bit, and you saw 47 dropbacks for Patrick Mahomes versus just 10 runs. Now, Patrick scrambled a couple times too, and the thing that comes to mind is that you need a little bit more balance. Andy Reid likes to talk about we take what they give us, and if something's working, we're going to run with it, and that makes perfect sense. But I think you have to give it a little bit more try on the other end to try to keep that defense honest. I think that might have helped them in this game had they been able to be a little bit more balanced. But part of that comes from the fact that Reid likes to call RPOs for Patrick, and Patrick ends up making the decision. I think that's really what it comes down to, and as long as he's able to take advantage of the situations that he sees, and you don't have 3 and outs, and you don't have interceptions, which Patrick has been very good at in 2020, with now just 1 on the season to this midway break. Now, I would like to see more balance, a little bit more run to try to keep that defense honest, but we have to be honest with ourselves. I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are very comfortable with this volume and this balance. I think it'll sway back at times depending on the matchup. Like you saw against the Buffalo Bills, I think they will have those games. As they go down the stretch in the second half, I think you could expect to see some games where teams do go back to playing their deeper coverages and allowing them to run, and I think the pendulum will swing back once they recognize that. But at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and if he has a chance to go downtown, you have to believe that he's going to do that in an RPO situation. That's not a negative thing. That's just the way that it is. And a lot of things are the way that they are. So if you're new here, make sure you like and sub and hit the bell notification so you can see everything that we do from the film, from the stats, from the Q&As, as well as your getting ready games for tailgates, for game plans. We have you all covered. If there's some particular stat that you'd like to see coming up in the next week or two, especially as we look at the season to this point, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to make sure that I add those as we look through where they've been through week 9 and getting ready for that end of the season and playoff push. Appreciate you guys watching this one. Thanks, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. These videos to see more, and subscribe to RGR Football.